Why play Tahm Kench Support? Well, he brings amazing engage, he's a beast at keeping his carry alive, he brings great kill pressure, and he has very strong roams. However, he is skill shot reliant and not too hard to dodge, and he can struggle against poke support and disengage supports in the early game. Tahm's passive is his attacks deal bonus damage scaling with both his AP and his health. In addition, each attack applies a stack of his passive for 5 seconds, and this stack can be applied up to 3 times. Tahm's Q is a straight line skill shot which deals damage and slows the first enemy hit. If this hits a champion, it also heals him and applies a stack of his passive. If the enemy champion already has 3 stacks of his passive on them, they are instead stunned and it will consume these stacks. Tahm's W is a skill shot which creates a circle on the floor. After a short delay, he dives down and pops up in the circle, dealing damage and knocking up all enemies hit. If this hits at least one enemy champion, it refunds the cooldown and mana cost by 40%. Tahm's E has a passive where a percentage of all damage he takes is stored as great health, and the amount stored as great health is greatly increased if there are at least 2 enemy champions nearby. After not taking damage for 4 seconds, he then starts to rapidly heal this grey health. The active on this ability converts all this grey health into a shield instead. Tahm's ultimate can be used on an ally or enemy with very different effects. Firstly, if used on an ally, they're devoured and are untargetable for 3 seconds. Upon being spat out, they're granted a massive shield which decays quickly, and the swallowed ally can choose to get spat out early. While he's swallowed an ally, Tahm is grounded, so he can't flash, but he does get a large speed up and can still use his W while his ally is swallowed. His ultimate can only be used on enemies when they have 3 stacks of his passive on them. After this, he can then eat them where he's slowed and grounded. They also become untargetable and are spat out after 3 seconds, where he deals a chunk of damage to them. In addition, if an enemy has 3 stacks of passive on them, he can use his Q, and while it's traveling, use R to use your ultimate on them from range. For combos, a basic go-to is to attack 3 times into your Q and then immediately follow up with your W for massive damage and CC. And a good engage combo is to use W into 3 auto attacks before following up with the Q or ultimate as needed. For matchups, he does better into engage champions, being able to easily protect his carry and delay their retreat. However, he can struggle into some bullies who can abuse his lack of guaranteed engage. For runes, take this, Guardian protects you and your carry well throughout the game. For build order, start Relic Shield and Pots into tier 2 boots and a locket. However, if you're ahead, a Heart Steel will make you a beast. After this, a Knight's Vow and Zeke's are great pickups before finishing a build with any of these as needed. For skill order, start Q then W then E before maxing Q then W then E, taking ult whenever you can. For summoner spells, take Flash and Ignite. Starting the game, your main goal is going to be stacking your support item while preserving health, poking with your Q and looking for opportunities for trades and all-ins. Early in the game, you want to contest brush control. Not only does this keep you safer, but it also hides the start of the animation for your Q and W. And being able to hide these animations makes it far more likely they land. In addition, it can also get you the opportunity to simply walk up to your opponent and start auto-attacking, which makes you terrifying. In addition to all this, when you have your ultimate, you can look to make very strong plays. If you're ever able to swallow an enemy and walk them in the wrong direction, this gives you a massive window to punish them in, and it gives your ADC very easy follow-up damage and CC. And of course, any plays you go for now are far safer, easily being able to swallow your ADC if they get in trouble. Entering the mid game, you and your carry want to take your tower as soon as possible and rotate mid. This will put the strong lane in the middle of the map to siege the tower and roam for objectives. Entering late game teamfights, you can play as your teams engage. It's often a good idea to swallow your tankiest member of your team and then jump straight into the fight with them. Otherwise, stick to your carry, giving them essentially a get out of jail free card. Between your slows, stuns and knockups, you're very difficult to get through, and using your ultimate to save your carry from certain death simply wins fights.